ones. I really am honored to spend time with you and help you all find your way back. You know, so many of you are doing such splendid work. Some of you now are starting to see improvements. Some of you that have been locked in pain for a very long time. And I want those of you, Garrett, you too, those of you that are locked in so much pain, think about what you can do to alkalize yourself. Use the sodium and bicarbonate, baking soda, aluminum free, teaspoon per cup of water, and sip on that through the day. Everything that you do needs to be alkaline. Your feelings, your emotions, open up, give love, make everything in your world alkaline, because the problem is extreme dehydration from extreme acidosis. And there's no easy remedy, but there is a remedy. So you have to understand that there is a remedy. Might take you a while, but there is a remedy. Those that are in big pain, stay away from the acid fruits. And matter of fact, I wanted to talk a little bit because there was one paper here. I was kind of shuffling through these a little bit here, but Drew was messing with the camera. And I kind of think, you know, Paul here's got a good thing here, because it kind of ties in with this guy that said he's getting bored with the videos and he wants to see more testimonials, which is true, but he didn't get the point that you can't put testimonials up on YouTube. Can't do that. Not keep the FDA out of your hair, you know, and if you're prepared with a lot of money to go after them, you know, okay. But for those of you that want to, if you make us a little video of your testimonials, we'll put them up on our club site, because we're going to open up a whole testimonial site. But you have to understand, who is this that asked me this? They're Humphrey. Humphrey, we're busy. We're busy people. And there was plenty of Facebook sites where people were telling their stories and stuff for you with testimonials. We have testimonial books here and everything else that people write in. But I'm going to sit here and read testimonials because you don't want to hear them from me. I never want to hear a testimonial from the practitioner except some of their cases, because this truly is about cases. That's why after a while, if it's not for you, you're going to be a little bored, because simplicity is the key. I have never, in almost 50 years now, been bored over raw foods. They excite you, they turn you on, they heal you, and they make you happy. Couple that with your spiritual growth and your ability to see and experience more of creation other than this little drama here. And I've given you all clues through all these videos how to get there, or here, however you wish to look at that. And so, very important, because you'll never get bored of that. Simplicity, though, is what this is. And Humphrey, the mind, you've got to get out of your mind, because simplicity is it. Over here, though, Paul was asking me, I think you need to start talking about advanced levels of healing on YouTube. So let's do that. We'll talk a little bit today about that. But I got so many questions. I am just working on questions. And I know, you have to understand, Humphrey, I'm only grabbing time to do this for you because I'm just so busy seeing people. I'll always be seeing people to one level or another, especially you guys that are advanced ones. I'm always going to help be with you. I work directly with Jen B. is going to start seeing people, and of course Marcy. And Jen B. is always set up for that. I've just been extra training her. So it's just, you got plenty of help. It's just that we're so busy trying to help everybody. And you can see how I'm just grabbing time to run these videos so I don't get them every day for you, which I would love to do. So I'm making time to do that. So after January, my appointments are going to change and go down even more. And then I'm going to work with more videos here to help you. But this is an educational video, Humphrey, and sometimes they get a little boring, you know. Not for me, because it's always about cases, and for you guys, this is good. I'm glad, Paul, you asked this, because this is truly about cases. And so let's, I'll go over a couple of cases to show you, and I've mentioned them before, but I'll tell you some of the things that I've done to help that. Testimonials, though, we really want to get them up there. That's a big part of people understanding what they can do. For us, it's important because it's business, you know, and it helps to spread the word. And it helps us to have more business so we can grow. You don't grow, you don't go. So our goal is to become one around the world. And I think by now most of you understand we have no alternative motive here. Our prices are low. Everything is, we don't have any motive other than to help the world get well and to change this friggin' consciousness on this planet. So there's a lot to do and a lot going on there. I'll tell you, help yourself, Humphrey, if you just turn around and be, I don't know if you're all raw yourself, but start helping others. Start working with others. Don't worry about the videos because there's only so much I can help you with. Then you just roll up your sleeves and start helping others and getting in the mix and seeing what that's about, and seeing what working with advanced people are all about. Because it's simple. It's so simple. It's a process. And that's what you all have to understand. It's a process to get well. There's no magic. The AMA has tainted man's consciousness with so much crap. And particularly this concept that you can take one little pill and suddenly your problems are gone. That is insanity. It worked okay back in subacute, like I said, acute and subacute conditions. But that's when you don't want to treat. An acute condition is something when you're creating it right now. When you're starting to feel pain, you're starting to create this condition. Now, but that said, there's also the degenerative pain which comes in. You're generally warned way before you get to that level. For example, the appendix. You're generally warned out there that you're having pain here and there before you really have the big one. So there's always these warning signs that people don't listen to. And I see this every day, and I myself sometimes ignore things. But I know immediately what's going on in my body, and I know immediately why. But then again, there's detox, which brings out old haunts as well. So remember those sort of things. So the boringness of this is simply the simplicity of it. And I don't know what to say about it. The interesting thing, and it's just like this New York detective who was a client of mine, and we were talking about all the murders and stuff, and he said, well, after a while, it's just another day. But he said, each one we're just wondering how they did it differently. And you're going to come to that healing is the same, guys. We're all Homo sapiens. There is no diseases of a magnitude. Everything's different, and every disease is different. You have to have a different approach to all these diseases and all that. You live in that world, and you'll end up like the medical doctors, confused, can't cure nobody, hurts more people than they help. So you just got to understand, we can't go there anymore. And it's not, I don't mean to be rude to allopathics, but you got to change. There's no two ways about it. You're on a dead-end road. And it's just too corrosive to the public. And so, maybe that's planned. I don't have any clue about that. But it's enough to say we all need to understand how simple healing and health is. We shouldn't be spending all our money and all our time getting well. Sad that we are. But if you broaden your consciousness and look at the future here in creation, because who cares? I mean, once you leave this rock, unless you're reincarnated back, this is going to be gone for you. And another drama coming forth. And another drama, and another drama until you wake up. There's lots of movies you can put in the old film and watch all kinds of things in creation. Creation's created already. You can watch a numerous amount of movies anywhere and everywhere. There's all kinds of planets with life on them, and then there's all kinds of dimensions with incredible zones of beings, light beings, and cities, and I mean, there's life crammed everywhere in what you might see as creation, duality. It's an endless thing. But it is not who you are, it's your game. And so hopefully these videos will help you to understand more of who you are. And that's what's important. That's the excitement of it. Because if you're not connecting with yourself, life isn't too exciting. Because it's just one drama after another, or I wonder how they did it this time, that sort of thing. With you healers there, though, the beauty of it, that each one of you are an individual, and each one of your clients is an individual. So it's fun to meet individuals and see what they're up against. But you know, we all have hearts, we all have livers, we all have bowels, we all have all those things. Same thing, everybody, except those that have been removed. So you go after the body the same way. It's only the concept of diseases that are all different. And that's simply the mind, not understanding the simplicity of it all. But mind isn't designed for simplicity. That's why intellectualism, you have to buffer that with spirituality, or you become a narcissistic elitist, which is just what we're fighting right now. Those that think they're better or know more than others. And that's just sad to see how that is, but it locks that soul into its own karma, and that's the problem with it. And then all the people that affects is locked in with that soul again, so you can create massive amounts of karma for yourselves. And it's like, ooh, you know. So I don't know what to say about that part of it, other than it's your journey. Where do you want to go with this? So all I can say is that, Humphrey, catch it yourself. You know, ride the rail yourself. Get on there. You know raw's better. You use what you assume is common sense and simplicity and ride for it and enjoy it and be happy over your own world. These are just trying to help everyone be happy. Learn how to get themselves happy. I can only make you happy by giving you the knowledge of truth and you riding with that and catching it yourself. You don't want to ride on anyone else's joy except to excite yourself to join the joy, right? So let's think about a couple of cases here, Paul. You've asked me about that, and I think that's important as well. I've just been locked in answering your questions because I have so many requests, and there's so many of you that are hurting, and each one has their own story. And some of it is just heartbreaking and heart-wrenching, to be honest with you. And it's just sad stuff. And we get this every day, 365 days a year. You know, we get this stuff coming at us, massive amounts of pain and mutations and stuff like that. It's just sad stuff. And this is why each and every one of you are vital to catch and learn this. Because this is about regeneration as much as it is about detoxification. Detoxification helps to get rid of the pain and the swellings and the toxic metals and those things that suppress organs and glands or make them hyperactive. But there's also the cell. And the cell is what you're regenerating. But to get to the cell, you're going to the fluids because it's the fluids that affects the cells. And you only have two major fluids to think about, right? Blood and lymph. And of course, there's only two sides of chemistry. So all this has been quite simple. But when you are at some of these extreme pains, like Garrett here is, then you have to work yourself out. And there's only a few tools that you have to work with here. If one of your clients calls you at night in trouble, you have to think, what would they have in their spice rack? Or what would they might have in their kitchen? Like cinnamon and peppers, cayenne peppers and stuff like this that they might be able to help. Turmeric, things like this that they might have there, that in a stat or emergency situation, like they're going through a healing crisis and you want to, quiet them down, do that. I would say that your neurolymphatic points are important in healing crisis. Excuse me. Cold is alkaline. So whenever you're feeling dizzy and lightheaded and you're going through that cold in the back of the head, always cold and hot showers help to stimulate. So if you're in a lot of pain, also skin problems, take salt baths. All these little things that you can do to help yourself when you have expressions on the skin or your clients are going through this, because for a lot of people that start this program or start any type of detoxification that has a bite to it, it's possible to see the skin express itself. So many of you young guys are dealing with the skin. The sad thing is that means your kidneys are down. Whenever you see your skin going into redness and itching and all that, then your kidneys are down. And that's a big, huge warning. Deal with the kidneys, because this becomes systemic acidosis. And when you're 13 years old having major skin problems, and then you have, no matter what you call it, get away from the names, because this is just medical jargon. And it confuses even them. And it leaves you in a world where there's no curative substance. This is why people are searching all over the world for truth and health and reality, Because most modalities are treatment-based systems that haven't worked. Even naturopathic medicine is an oxymoron and has failed man miserably. It's naturopathy. And naturopathy is simply the science of nature, and there's no confusion with that. Nature is what it is, and it's ongoing. It produces and replicates itself, and it does it all in the world of chemistry, and understanding that is not complicated. All these experiments we've done on animals, all the cruelty that man has done, these medical people have done on animals and humans and all this stuff is bizarre crap. Not needed whatsoever. Regeneration is easy. It's a natural process of the human body in an alkaline medium, in a base medium. But if you're lost in a world where you think man's suffering from alkalosis, then you're suffering from delusion. And a lot of you chemists are suffering from delusional thinking. You just don't get how the body works, but you need to, because this is all acidosis big time, and you can't treat acidosis with acidosis. You can't treat acidosis with acids. And that's what allopathics doing, and it's killing people right and left. You can't do that. This whole concept of chemo is bizarre, dark agey, cruel. I mean, you could go right on with that. You know, there's this. So when you've got cases where, like Paul was saying, where you've had chemo and radiation, you're damaging yourself big time. And do you want to continue? If that's the way you want to treat yourself, is to damage yourself, well, go ahead. But then don't come crying when you're in a situation where you only have a few weeks to live, and I'm trying my best to get you back. When you have someone like that, you have to be 100% raw. 100% raw. And should be 100% fruits, berries, and melons. When you're advanced, you can't step down and waste your time digesting vegetable matter because you think it has some miracle cure to it, and it doesn't. Your fruits and your berries and your melons, picked ripe, grown properly, is unbelievable in taste, in texture, and in its vitality, in its gift to you. And so we have to promote the concept of fruit eating big time. This is essential for the humans to survive. But in a detoxification endeavor, let's say you like your vegetables, okay, but to detoxify yourself, you must be fruits. And if you have advanced cases, you have to be all fruits. I have a lady in here yesterday, she's topping 40-day grape fast, 10-day lemon juice fast, lemon and orange juice fast. I'm proud as heck of her. That's how you do it. That's how you win this game. You detoxify, you dig in, you go 10-day fast, 20-day fast. You play with this. That's your game. And you do that until you're well. At the same time, you're letting go because you want to grow spiritually. You want to see more, don't you? Don't you want to see and understand more about life and what might be in the areas you can't consciously see? Absolutely. I mean, that's a lot of fun. I mean, what's boring, Humphrey, is this planet. What's boring is to see people slaughtered with chemistry. You know, these things are boring. What's exciting is the road to well and getting healthy and getting vital. That's key. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. And look at Dr. Oz. I can tell Dr. Oz has been eating a little raw here lately. I can tell he wasn't, but I can tell he is now. The other day he had a big table of raw fruits and vegetables, and he was feeling it. I could tell he was feeling it. But he hadn't been doing it because he hadn't been feeling it. He'd been pushing supplements. And you could tell just in his lack of energy. And then at the same time on another channel, you've got another medical doctor talking about protein diets and how when you have a higher protein diet, you're 700 times more likely to die early, and you're 70 more times likely to develop colon cancer. And he just kept on rattling off statistics, and I thought, wow, I need to record this because this is good stuff, you know. I'm too busy to get into statistics a lot of times, so it's interesting to see those that look at those things, you know, and see them. Because people are steeped in this protein bull crap that it's hurting them. And they just can't get away from that. They're steeped into that. And yet the people that are telling that have no concept of what they're talking about. Most people have no idea what protein is and why we don't recommend it. So, you know, you have to understand all these things. hopefully we'll get the club website really going, but we're limited with employees and stuff here to help, because you have to make sure you have some profits so you can turn around and order more herbs so you can grow. All our money comes and goes right back in. You has to. When you're growing, that has to happen, so it can keep you poor. I don't know what to tell you more, Garrett, in advanced cases like this, because you're using hydrotherapy, which is water therapy, hot and cold therapy. That's a stimulant to some ways. I don't use coffee enemas in stat or emergency situations. I don't like to get into too much of the stimulants. My big thing is, I'll say I used to, when I'd have a lunger, like a COPD or something, where they're just so much mucus and they're grasping for air, I used to make them throw up with lobelia. You give someone about 3 teaspoons of lobelia, that ought to be enough, and make them throw up, and that compresses the lungs and out goes the mucus. And if you have someone suffering and can't take a breath, I'll say this also, we've talked about this before on videos about emergency rooms, but a lot of this is in my class. I teach this in my class, and I prefer to keep some of this for the class. So the class is fun, but it's where I can really get to the subject matter right on, and I like the classes. It's a place where we can grow and take another step there. Just time to think. So let's look at a case here. And I'll tell you this, you can have cases that are having healing crisis. Now let's take this one lady. This is her 3rd cancer. This is a pancreatic cancer case. She walks in one day, I think I told you, with loose teeth. She had just had been to the dentist and had one pulled. She had 3 or 4 abscesses. And so I told her, no, this is detox. And so by the end of the week, all her teeth were loose. And she had about 7 abscesses in her mouth. Now, what would you do with that? Well, I had her washing her mouth with Heal All Tea and holding it, to a syringe and to pull the toxins out of her gums and stuff. At the same time, I don't know if I remember if I gave her bicarbonate or not. That was a lot of years ago. I've showed you her eyes, I think, definitely in the class. I showed you the extreme weaknesses of this case. I've never seen a case where the body was that weak and that toxic. But she had cervical cancer 30, thyroid cancer 32, and pancreatic cancer. But I have so many of these cases, it's just hard for me to remember them all. I only remember mostly the outstanding cases because I've been through a lot of them. So it's hard to remember every one of them. But I pushed her deeper. I did not back her off. I pushed her deeper because I needed those, the infection, all the acids, I needed all that out of her mouth. And I knew if I could keep pulling in her mouth with the herbs and stuff and keeping her going on the fruits, that it would clean and those teeth would lock down. And sure enough, the gums locked right back down on the teeth. All the teeth went strong again. Excuse me. And she lost 1 tooth out of that healing crisis. But the dentist was going to take more out of her. And so that's some of the craziness of healing crisis. Some of your weaknesses, matter of fact, that's the big issue, that when you experience a negative experience in detox, that's your weakness. Whenever you feel something in your body, you don't feel where you're healthy. You always feel where you have inflammation, which is acidosis, or genetic weaknesses under the acidosis sky. And therefore, you feel those areas. And they always seem to put it up in your face before it goes. Remember, I also told you that a lot of the symptoms of the quote-unquote disease that they were diagnosed with comes back toward the end of their detox. It'll go away initially. A lot of people, a lot of symptoms kind of fade away, and then suddenly it comes back, and they go, oh, my stuff is back. No, this is a typical detox where it brings back those symptoms and shows you just before it eliminates them. I've seen that with Lou Gehrig's. I've seen that with scleroderma, big time. I've seen that with him. I've seen this with a lot of things like that. And you just keep going on. You don't stop. You don't panic. You just keep going forward. Keep driving your train to Wellville, because that's what it is. If you have to back up or you need to take a little cheat here and there, okay, who cares? No one's over anybody with a stick. This is your journey. going down the road to Wellville, and hopefully going down the road to God consciousness, to where you're becoming awake, and suddenly life becomes a joy because you no longer are trapped by it. You know, life traps us by our very desire for it. So you have to be careful about things like that. Let me see. I have to think about this, Garrett, and see what I can come up with for you. We generally talk about those advanced things in our classes. So I have to think about some of those things, but it's not difficult, and it's still a simple thing. Healing crisis, you just have to relax and wrap yourself up. I'll tell you a lot of times, too, is don't try to overdo it. When you're in a healing crisis or you're tired and fatigued, rest. Let your adrenals charge up a little bit. Don't try to push yourself too far. There's a time we need to rest, and I'm bad about breaking that law because I've been pushing myself for years. And so, you know, I'm trying to do everything I can to get this planet awake a little more. I don't know. Do my best. And with your help and everything, we're doing a good job, I think. I mean, the stories I'm hearing, you guys down in Costa Rica, boy, that's exciting. That Costa Rican project is exciting as heck with me. Matter of fact, I just sent him a cancer case down there. And so this is good stuff. Good stuff down there. And so I'm excited about all this and excited about the future. So Humphrey, get excited about the raw and health and healing and working with others, because if this is boring to you, maybe you got it and realize that it is the same. It's the same, it's the same. My excitement is about the individual. The body and healing the body, come on. Simple, it's straightforward. After a while, you'll be, oh. And then the rest of the world's going, I can't believe this can be done. I can't believe it. But to those doing it, you realize the simplicity of it. And you realize most of our problems are directly connected to our eating habits, our lifestyles, what we breathe, what we eat, what we drink, what we put on our skin. You have to understand we live in a world of chemistry. If medical doctors don't want to understand chemistry or the world and the foods that we eat and the vibrational frequencies and how that affects you, I wouldn't expect them to. It's not their field. But you can't then become narcissistic and claim that, you know, the world of diseases is real and that everyone else is crazy and, you know, you have the answers, because that's bullshit. You don't have any answers. And that's the problem. So we need to we need to work together and understand the body more and the lymphatic system and understand the great lymphatic system. That's key. And my book's almost done, guys, and hopefully it'll be a little book that you can hand out to people where you don't have to sit there, and especially those of you that are shy, you know, you can say, read this. It'll be real simple and to the point about the lymphatic system and how that is and why that is the core of man's suffering. Why that is every disease you can name just about. I mean, there's definitely toxicity factors from heavy metals and virals and stuff like this, but it's your culturing medium. It is your terrain inside of your body that determines just what you're going to experience in a world like this. And you have to understand that bacteria are your friend, not your enemies. It is your body that is full of sewage and acids and inviting, and of course, fermentation and stuff, inviting the very creatures of life that get rid of this for you in your body. It's not them that is the issue, obviously. You must understand this is about cellular sewage and a little parasitic sewage that is not going anywhere. So very important to understand that. I think our biggest problem is getting people's kidneys opened and filtering fast. I think that's our biggest problem that we face, and understanding that. To some, they've worked months and months to get filtration and getting very little. Others take right off and get pretty good filtration within a week or two. So, can't say that I know those things. And that's why I'm reaching out to all of you healers there, working with people to keep your eyes open and see if you can come up with something, you know, with that. Because healing to me is simple. I'm a God man. This is all about God to me and my own personal awareness and yours. And so health is a simple side effect of that. You want to jump in, get it done, and then forget it and be. Don't let that mind grab it as a pattern, and then just live it. Just live it. Be it. Don't let that mind come in like with Humphrey and want to take it on a road. Doesn't need to. Keep life simple. That way you have more time to enjoy yourself and have fun instead of being locked in it. And there's another thing is, some of you that are suffering so bad, you got to get away from it. You got to get your attention off your suffering. I know that's not easy, and I know there's pain, but you've got to get your attention a little off of that. Because if you focus on it, it'll increase the pain. So, attention is energy and power. So if you're going to put your attention on anything, see yourself as healthy and well. See the lymph system hydrated and moving through the kidneys. Give some mental energy and power to the human cell to understand itself what's going on, because your mind is feeding their minds. Everything has a mind to be here. You just have to understand creation, as we've talked about. So I don't know. Rest is key. Some of your advanced cases, this is, you're just getting more strict. I'll say this, there's some times in some of these cases, and we've mentioned this a couple of times, is sometimes you have to give them what they're craving. Sometimes you have to give in to your craving. If your craving is so bad, then you have to give in to it. Especially if it is of a vegetable or something that you might need some minerals or something out of that. If it's like candy and stuff like that, it is what it is. And you might have to just take a bite just to okay, it's there for me if I need it. Okay, now I can go on. Then nobody's over you at the club with that. And it's not going to set you back, and it's not, you just keep on going. And it'll do you a lot of good sometimes emotionally to carry on. Because some of you are working hard to gain your health back. Understand that it's just a process. There's nothing fallible about this. It's just a process to get there. There are some that can't handle the fruits. You have the other side of this coin. You have some that are so toxic, they can't handle fruits. And so you have to back up a little bit with them. Maybe give them an apple or something that's a little more balanced. They might have one fruit meal, maybe in the morning. But it's essential to develop a fruit morning habit. I can just tell you. And you live with that always. And you will always love that. It'll keep you feeling light to lunch, feeling good. It'll keep your kidneys flushed. It'll keep your nervous system excited. All these things. So breakfast is always a fruit meal. Always. Fruit smoothies, I don't care. Smoothies without whey proteins and crap like that, and yogurts and almond milks and stuff like that. That's not smoothies. You use fruit juice as your base, whether it's apple or grape or whatever fruit juice you want to be. Throw whatever fruit you want in there. Always throw maybe one banana. I don't like a real thick smoothie with a lot of bananas. Bananas to me is the meat of the fruit, and I can't eat too much of that. Your watery fruits are so much more enlivening and flushing and everything else. But keep your smoothies light. You don't want heavy foods when you're detoxifying. Even fruit can be heavy. The different fruit have different textures. So you're looking for more watery fruits, more stringent rich fruits that kind of make you want to pucker a little bit. And that's going to astringe your body. Because you have to understand, acids dehydrate. This is very serious stuff. Very serious stuff. This is way more serious than medical doctors even think. And this genetic downslide of the human cell is staggeringly serious. And if we don't turn it around, it's like the young man with the cleft on the head. I've never seen a cleft on the head. And it's just what's happening. And we have to stop this. Moms and dads have to get their genes healthy and well, the children, their genes healthy and well before they have children. Or we're just replicating this, and creation can't lift up. See what I'm saying? We're holding it down here. We need to lift it up because everything needs to move and grow and uplift and move and grow, and things are stagnant. And allopathic is very much a part of this stagnation that we have to turn around, because you just can't keep trying to treat things you don't understand. You can't keep using autoimmune and bull crap like that means nothing just because you don't know what's up. Join the knowers of what's going on and how you gain your wellness. That simple. All right, Garrett, I was going to call you. I guess I got your number here. I just haven't a chance to call you, Garrett. I was going to call you and tell you I love you, man. You just please keep working through yourself. You're doing good. He says, I'm beginning to lose faith because I'm in so much pain all the time. It's a sad stuff to see all this. Use your salt baths. Always remember salt tub bathing is good. Hot and cold compresses is good. It's hard to hydrate interstitially. Interstitial means around your cells, and you have 100 trillion cells with spaces around them, and those spaces are full of what? Fluids. Basically, predominantly lymph with a little blood, right? If that becomes stagnant, it dries up. So your interstitial spaces become dried. Your skin starts to dry. When you start to experience dry mouth, dry eyes, you're in deep trouble. When you start to cry, acid tears, or your jury takes on your hand, what's going on? You're in trouble. You know, you're in trouble as acids start developing and building up in your body from a lack of kidney filtration. When that happens, then the cell is up for grabs. This is why there's so much protection. And a lot of people die from the protection the body offers because no one told them what they were developing this. They were creating this. All the past love this ridiculous concept of diseases, and then you live in that, disempowering yourself, and you're living there while everything's going wrong, and you have physicians telling you that everything's okay, it's all in your head, it's an autoimmune, there's nothing you can do, and you're sitting there getting worse and worse and worse. And that's crazy. And that's where man is right now in a lot of ways, and that's got to stop. There's no nice way to say this. We have to stop and change the way we think. We have to stop and change our governments. We have to stop and change this world a little bit. We've learned, you know, there is learning and growth. But that growth is awareness, and the mind can keep you from your awareness, and that's what's going on. We're praising academics, but if you watch this, now they want to go back to 3 years of college instead of 4. You know, they're backing up. They're going to back up even more. They got to where you can't get a doctorate till you have 10 years. That's stupid. We have overran intellectualism to look what we've created outside with governments and everything else. We think we're so smart we know what's good for everybody. That is a scary thought, and that's what's going on, the elitists. So you just have to, you're all responsible, each and every one of you, even those that rub noses with these people, help the world. Help the world. There's no, it'll be okay. Stand tall. Be the eagle. Be that which brings the God truth to the world. Don't be the little shy one that runs from the light. You be the light. Let it shine through you. You know, you run from the light, that's a problem. You know, you got too many bad things in the darkness. But you be the light, nothing can hurt you. Nothing can get you. Because you are that which is. You are the light, and nothing can affect you. Entities can't touch you. Things like that. And this is true about healing. And in advanced healing, rest is very key. All of you, rest is very key to turn on the dopamines for the kidneys, and that's from the adrenals. If not, then you're working with your epinephrines, which is your adrenalins, and you're shutting down your dopamines, which is eliminations. It's all, you just have to realize there's a time to rest, there's a time to wake up, there's a time for all this stuff. And now for many of you, it's a time to get rid of your karmas, to wake up. I know, like Garrett here, the poor lad is suffering so much in pain. I don't know what to help you, how else to tell you other than, boy, I'd be living on 30-day, 40-day grape fast, Garrett. I would be using lemon. I wouldn't be using, excuse me, I wouldn't be using any citruses. I wouldn't be using any of that. I would be right on a grape fast, a red or black grape fast for as long as you can take it. And at least 20, 30 days if you can. You can add some apple in there if you wanted to or something else. And change around, but stay away from the acid fruits. See how you go. I mean, you just have to keep digging in. I don't know if you're on herbs or not on. If you're not on herbs, then it's going to be a while. It takes a while if you don't have the herbs. That's why I love the herbs. So if you have an affordability, I mean, once in a while we have a donator that donates money, and then we can send out free herbs. But it's not a lot. So we're trying. We're here to help everyone, and I give a lot away, but you have to understand there's a certain point where we can go under. So you have to be careful, and I have a tendency to give everything away. You just have to understand we're doing everything we can, Humphrey, to keep this not boring. We're going to trip it up. We're going to do webinars. We're going to do more things, but you have so many questions, I don't know how to trip them up and still answer your questions. We thought about just specific subject matters and stuff like that, but it's going to be boring because you're going after everything the same way. You're literally going after everything the same way because that's detox. Detox is a universal experience. Whether you're in China, whether you're in India, and whether you're in the States, doesn't matter. It's universal. It's done the same way. The only problem is that some people are so toxic and so acidic they can't do all fruits. So you might have to back down. And Garrett, you might even have to back down to the green drinks. But I would think you would handle dark grapes okay. But if not, and that's too aggressive, Garrett, then go on a green drink fast. Use alfalfa as your main green. You can use alfalfa sprouts if you grow them yourself. Get them in the sun for the last few days. You want to give them about 3 days in the sun if you can. Get real green. That'll really honk. Those are strong sprouts. But alfalfa is the key green if you're going to do that. But you can mix other greens, of course, barley, wheat, whatever you want. But I would do alfalfa sprouts, throw in maybe some dandelion greens when they're back in season. Obviously, parsley is the key one. Maybe a little beet, if you can handle a little beet, Garrett, to help the kidneys and liver, that sort of thing. But boy, I'd be going after my kidneys and adrenal glands. Key for pain, because why? That's the system pain is in, and that's the doorway that those acids have to go out. And if you're not filtering, I don't know how you change that. You can throw anti-inflammatories in there, you can throw lipids in there, you can throw everything else. What the body's doing. It's pulling calcium. There's your electrolytes. It's using additional lipids like cholesterols to help neutralize this acidosis. But in that process to help itself, we don't get it. We have this AMA keep saying, "Oh, don't worry about it, you're okay," and all this other crap like this. And then as you go down the road, suddenly you're in trouble, real trouble. So you really have to, get going, understand these things, and understand what happens when you're in trouble. No one's going to live a perfect all raw food life. There are those out there that have done it for years and stuff like that. Okay, I love that. That's all great. But we're in the world of healing. What you do after that, that's up to you. I do promote a 100% raw food lifestyle. Pretty much impossible for the average person. But, okay, no one's over anybody with a club here. But you want to detox, you want to get in there and do it deeply and regenerate tissue and get all these acids out of you, get your kidneys filtering, and then balance out. Have a salad a day, always have your fruit in the morning. If you want a dead animal or something with it, okay, once in a while, have a dead piece of fish or chicken on your salad, okay, twice, 3 times a week, okay. That's all okay. You're going to live well and everything else, but fix yourself. That's all I'm involved in. I don't care. I'm just here to help this world understand how to fix themselves. Not difficult, boring, but it's so much fun that I never get bored. I get excited. I get excited when you feel better. It makes me happy when you all feel better because you are part of all of us. And when all of us feel better, we're all happy as a one. They don't get that yet. What you do to one, you do to all of us. It's all part of the one consciousness that exists. And they don't get that. We have to feed into that. That's why we need to feed the light into this. Too much negativity has been fed into this. We need to quash this and bring the light into this and awareness into this. And some things have to die hard. And some things will die hard. Real hard. You can't help it. It's time for growth. The world is radically going down. It's time for you to awaken. Those that are willing and ready and want to, this is a good level to help you to waken up, and have some fun and enjoy your experience here and yourself. The suffering concepts and stuff is ridiculous, like poor Garrett here. This is A. Bartholomew. I've noticed that I feel down after taking the adrenal glandulars. Why do you think that might be? Well, you know what? You might have had enough. Muscle test you on that one. Muscle test on that glandular, because let me tell you, there's a point where that glandular you've had enough of it that you don't need anymore, or that glandular isn't right for you. And that's true. I recommend everyone muscle test on the herbs and the glandulars to see if your body wants them. And I'll say this, what your body wants today might not be what your body wants tomorrow. Now, most of the herbs, the kidneys and lymphatics and stuff, we have people on them for years and all that, and there's never any problems. But the glandulars, these New Zealand glandulars are real strong, no question about it. There's such a difference when you love those that are here to sacrifice themselves for us. because we're growing for that. We're pulling that and creating that. Remember, nothing dies. You can't kill atoms, and you can't kill consciousness. You can change form, but nothing dies. But things change form. That's all this universe is. You can't make things disappear, but you can change form. And that's what atom rearrangement's all about. So there's a time where you don't need the adrenal, you don't need the glandulars. That's fine with me. I only use them to help people in their darkest days, to help them get going. And then we can go into more into the herbs, and these are just turn-on devices. We've suppressed our glands, and the glands are everything. If you think of anything in the body, think of the glands, because the glands literally control everything. From the pituitary, the parathyroid, thyroid, you have a thymus here. You can thump on this thymus, that's T-cell formation. A lot of people don't talk about the thymus much. Maybe we'll get on that, and the spleen a little bit more. Important to clean your spleen once in a while with the spleen formula, because the spleen is where the blood cleans itself into the lymph system. If you look at how the body's designed, you'll see how God is keeping the acids, the body sheltered from this as much as possible. Because it's a corrosive cytokine. It just makes sense. And this is what we all have to get to. Have to understand this. Because it's truth as it is. And everybody gets well that doesn't. Now, you do have your people like Garrett who, in one way or another, a lot of people have been on skin problems that had steroids and stuff like this, and all they've done is lock you into a world of hell. That stuff's got to stop. Dermatologists, you got to wake up, guys. You're suppressing, you're using steroids, you're ruining people's adrenals, and you're suppressing their lymph systems. So what you're creating is an explosive device. You ever notice that when you use your cortisol creams and you stop, it comes roaring back? Of course it does. What does that tell you? You don't have to go to school 10 years to understand that one. Is that it's suppressed your lymph system, and then when you stop, your lymph system goes, woohoo! Because you have to understand the skin is your largest eliminative organ, your third kidney. Thank you for your awesome videos. Thank you. I'm glad you're not bored with them. I like them. But I am going to check them up a little bit. I'm moving my office into a bigger room. Marcy's going to have my office. Then Jen B is going to have the smaller office. I wish I'd have built these two offices the same, but this was years and years and years ago, But we're growing, and we're trying to arrange to where we can continue to see and help you guys. I'll continue to see you guys that are the most advanced ones. But I'll always be in the clinic here, and I'm helping Jen and Marcy both, and then I have my homework at home. I have so much work to do. It's unbelievable. So I'm grabbing these videos, and I apologize dearly to you all, but I'm trying to get you this information, and if it becomes boring and you get it, I'm happy, because then you got it. And if you catch this, then your world you'll always know in your world how to make yourself well, how to help yourself. And that's key. We all need to know how we can help ourselves get well, and maybe how we can maybe see some things we've never seen before. Maybe for those that are fearful of this, have some out-of-body travels, and then maybe even more, because your life is going to explode in joy and awareness when you start doing these things. It'll change out of this little soap opera into something magnificent and gigantic, and something you're very much a part of. And this just opens your heart, your love. Cool stuff, guys. Cool stuff. And we want things to be simple, My question is regarding numbness in the fingers. I've been getting for the last couple of years. I am 37. This is a 37-year-old getting numbness in their hands. And live in the UK. The numbness is brought on by slight drop in temperature. Exactly. And a lot of you are going to see this. As you start seeing colder weather, this is alkaline. So what are you going to see? Detox. So you're going to see cold and flu-like symptoms all over the place? Look at those symptoms and tell me what they are. They're not disease symptoms, please. They're the body's effort to eliminate. Whatever tricks the trigger. It can be cold. Cold is alkaline. Bacteria, remember, under 40 degrees, you can forget those guys. But if you come into a viral or something, so what? That's your opportunity to clean your body out. Look at these things as opportunities as opposed to bad, negative things. Bad things happen to people only because they treat their problems and they don't understand it. Most people die of the treatment of their conditions as opposed to the condition itself. Because most conditions are simply acidosis, inflammation, location, 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 and how that cell is interrupted, how that gland or whatever is interrupted, and the failing of hormones or steroids to create certain processes. Also, the genetic downslide of the cell, the mutation, and what that's producing in terms of augmentation of structures and everything else. Oh, you're missing the H1N1 gene or whatever, you know. You can't live in that world, because that world is a dead world going nowhere. Yeah, you're changing your genetic patterns, yet you can change them back. And you change them simply back by reversing, by reversing how you changed it in the first place. How simple is that? You changed it by your lifestyle, you change it back by your lifestyle. Get it? That's easy. Might be at work, but we're all victims of this level of state of consciousness here. And victims in that, God has put itself through this. So we as God must help put our worlds back at a better level, because everything affects everything. So it's important that we lift all things up. It's just a natural process where consciousness spirals up. But you always are going to have the low levels, always. So, okay, new souls coming to the planet. I've talked to many souls who have never been here at all. Have fun. You know, come on. But there's many, you'll meet many beings that don't know what this level is all about at all. And then you'll meet many beings that are stuck here. Okay, the numbness is brought on by a slight drop in temperature, but we're not taking Arctic conditions here, not talking Arctic conditions. This happens even in a cool summer's day. This is a circulation issue, not really a blood issue. This is a lymphatic issue again. I'm not overweight at all, probably just right for my height. I also tend to get ganglion cysts on my wrists. Well, right there's your clue, you know, that this is your lymphatic system here. And you can have a chiropractor check your neck and check your spine there, make sure it's in line. But do you feel tight and stiffness in the shoulders? Even if you don't, feel up here and see if you're tight. That's generally the reason. You get so tight up there with the lymph that it numbs it suppresses the nerve flow down the arms, and you get numb fingers. It can happen from the elbow. It can happen from the wrist. You know, it can happen if you're getting ganglion cysts here. Then you're just not moving lymph. So it can be from any area. You know, you could have the carpal tunnel, but that's all just acidosis with a twist. Because when you're acidic, your body has to neutralize that. That's the natural ebb and tide of positive and negative, of acid and base. You have this constant flux between these two poles. That's how life breathes and moves. So you always have that. You always have acidosis and alkalinity. You always have all these things breathing and moving. Ionization, oxidation, all these things are breathing and moving. Constantly. Chemistry is constantly in a state of flux. Electrolytes are always being burned. You're always seeing this back and forth. But you're on a dominant planet of base chemistry, and that's the nature of fruits, berries, and melons and salads is that same base dominance chemistry. Most of the other foods, as we've discussed, your grains and your beans and your dead animals, these chemistries are way off from this ratio that one needs to keep a base dominance. And when you start consuming an acid dominance meals, you start creating that problem. Mostly your gut and your kidneys get hit hard with acid meals. For those that have weak kidneys, just have protein. You'll take a week just on fruits, berries, and melons, and then have you a high meat meal. And get prepared for some antispasmodic for the kidney, though. You know, this is, or wherever your pain is, because this is just what it is. You can't consume acids in pain because pain is an acid experience. And if you're consuming acids when you're in pain, don't be bitching because you're accentuating your pain. You're adding to the acid on top of acid. That's chemotherapy crap. Can't do that. The whole gig is to bring this base in, but the base balance. Like we talked about the Keegan waters. 9, way too base. You got to be careful because you won't then throw yourself into what they think is alkalosis. Nothing's good about alkalosis or acidosis. The majority of this is acidosis. But you can create alkalosis. But this numbness, move on your lymph, get those kidneys, pee in a jar, check your urine, dear one, see if you have sediment in it. But get hunking on your kidneys and adrenals and open up these doors here and get this out of here. Because in the advent of fighting acids, I'm going to take calcium where I can find it. Well, if I pull it out of your joint, I'm going to, of course, all the edema and everything else is going to swell my joint, but I'm going to block my pathways because wherever acids are, you're going to see the loss of calcium out of structure, but the ionization and the solidification of calcium when it hits the acids. So then you get bone spurs. You get, calcium deposits, you get stenosis, or you get hardening of the arteries, or hardening of the tissues, or hardening of the joints, and accentuate. The joints change their look and design, and everything starts curling. You can uncurl, but you have to reverse how you're curling. And that all happens under acidosis. So that's how I would do. Get myself moving. Do these neurolymphatics down your spine. Work on those neurolymphatics to help open this up faster. Get those kidneys a filtering. Check your urine. And open this up and get this numbness out of here. If you got any neuropathy from that, get yourself on brain and nerve number 2. But I would definitely get on 2 kidneys, 2 lymphatic formulas, and clean up your bowels. Get all this draining out of here. Pull it draining, get your arms filtering out. And all these cysts will go away and you won't have them anymore. And you'll stop the leaching. If you have calcifications or hardening of tissue, that'll change. But you have to stay raw. You can't change the body by eating cooked foods. That's exactly what's bringing us down. Now, you can be a raw foodist and have some cooked foods here and there. Who cares? But when you're trying to get yourself well, you be disciplined and you stay straight because that's how you get well. After you get well, then you can play. But get yourself well first and get this numbness out of there because that's not good. But check this tightness up in here and get this filtering. But it also can be at the elbow and the wrist. But that's the lymph system causing this, and you have to open that door for yourself, honey. What's this? I was wondering why do babies' eye colors change from brown to blue from birth? Here's an example how. Here, top was his first bath after birth. Bottom is him at almost 2.5 years old. It's hard, honey, for me to see these real well. Can you, if you're a computer, can you home in on that eye itself and send that to me and let me see this? What was this? Baby's eye colors change from brown to blue from birth. I can't answer that one. I've never seen that. Unless there's some type of influence outside. Does one of the mom or dad have a brown eyes, and the other parent have blue? I mean, you might see something like that, to where there is some memory patterns that were, now it's changing, it's going that. As a rule, you have, if you're a blue-eyed baby, you're generally born with, of course, with the blue eyes, but then a day or two, a few hours, you can start seeing changes then to the brown. But I've never seen brown eyes turn blue. Now, if they're brown with blue in them, then that is possible, but that would mean this baby would have to have gotten rid of some lymph there that was creating some brownness in the eyes. So who knows? If you have your baby on raw, who knows? I don't know. Interesting question. Give me a little more close-up on that. Let me take a look at this. I'm curious to see this eyes now. You got me. My curiosity is up, my dear. And see if you can get on that and home in on that eye better so I can see it real hard. They look about the same. Boy, but do you see a big skin ring on this child? Hard to see. So get me a better picture and I'll take a look. Give me a current picture if you want. You know, let me look at your baby and see what we got. Get your cell phone and a flashlight down there and give me a good picture there and see what we got going. Because we want to take care of our babies. This idea of hurting our babies makes me want to cry every time. It makes me sick to my stomach. This allopathic crap. Sorry, allopathics, but we've got to change. Can't keep hurting the babies. Matthew. You know, Matthew, I would like to know what book you recommend to get study your general philosophy on health, lymph, etc., and botanical, etc. Well, I'd say this. All the Arnold Ehret books are great. I do love the natural hygienic books, too. You know, they don't understand the herbs, but who cares? You know, they're definitely into the raw, so that is good. You know, anything by Arnold Ehret, Herbert Shelton, T.C. Fry, Tilden, a lot of books like that. Highly recommend you read mine because none of the books have this level. I mean, you have to understand that we grow from the past. I take what these greats have discovered and build on that. I want you guys to take what I discovered and build on that. That's the way it should be. There's no ego here. We want to build and we want to come into a new, higher science that makes people feel good, that we can get people well, better, and faster. That's what we want to do, don't you think? So, I would say those are the ones basically because the herb side of it is easy. You just take some herbal courses. You have to understand, I redesigned herbology for myself. I took naturopathy and herbology and went like this. Because in herbology, we're treating diseases with herbs. Naturopathy is the understanding of chemistry and physics in relationship to your body, to foods, to everything. You don't understand that. How can you put yourself up as a healer? How can you say you're a doctor if you don't understand the chemistry of foods and how that interfaces with the chemistry of the body and how all that is? I don't get that. I don't get that. But very few of them understand the lymph. I think we're at the top shelf. There is Australia, isn't it, guys? Isn't there a college there that pretty much sees the lymph like we do? Yeah, a lot of professors are beginning to open up. I know there's a beautiful A&P professor we have that watches the videos. She gets it really well. But if you're an A&P professor and you really understand that you can't dump acids into the blood, because we're fighting to keep the blood viscosity and everything nice as it is, why would you dump a pound or 2 pounds or 3 pounds? AMA says 5. Okay, so let's go with their thinking. Say we dump 5 pounds of acids into your venous system. You're going to kill yourself. I mean, this is insanity to even think about that. To even have that as a concept blows me out the water. Because if any chemist understands that there's no way you can dump even a pound of acids into the venous system every day and you're eating acid foods, you take somebody eating acid foods and you're dumping all your acids back into the blood system, you're not going to live long. You're not going to be around. I don't know what they're thinking. That's stupid. You have to understand the body has to get rid of them, but it also can break them down. Now, who's going to help us break down metals like that, the acids and proteins? Who's going to help us do that? There's only one world I know of, and it's called bacterium. Oh, but we want to kill them. I don't know. Can't tell you. See what I'm saying? We are warped in our healthcare industry, big time. And we're flatly ruining the economics of our societies and of people themselves. Over what? You can help people as medical doctors, as naturopaths, as anyone else without overcharging. Hospitals don't have to overcharge. You don't have to charge $10 for a Band-Aid. You know, these sort of things. Very aware of hospitals, the games they play. And it's sick. Sick. And that's godly? That's far from godly. You guys are trapped. You got to get yourselves out of that. I'd also like to know about your view on, holy crap, systemic enzymes. I'll just put it that way because I don't know how to pronounce these two words. I don't use systemic enzymes, nor do I recommend them, period. You get your enzymes out of your foods and out of your body. So all I can tell you, you don't need to. Enzymes are everywhere. But you don't need to. You eat raw foods. And if you're having a problem with digestive enzymes, which foods come with their own enzymes to break themselves down, but you have digestive enzymes, then you have to make healthy your pancreas. Or if you're too acidic in your mouth, you're going to suppress your amylase, you're going to press your digestive enzymes out of your mouth as well. So, again, the old story, super chew your food good. Almost everybody's done at the table and gone by the time I'm done with my meal, because I've made myself learn how to chew properly. You chew your food good, you digest partly here and then go on down. But fruits are so easy, you don't have to sit there. Just take a while and take attention. Take a handful of grapes and chew on them, swallow them, and then take a big bite of salad and chew on it. To try your different food. Take a piece of meat and chew on it. Feel the texture and the complexity of the chemistry to get an idea of what you're putting in your body. Simplicity is always at the top of the heap and always better for all things. Complexity only leads to confusion and despair. But I'm not so much into systemic enzymes. If you're looking for that as a creative or heal-all or cure-all, that's ridiculous. You have to get right on point. And to be on point is to understand. You simply have a bunch of cells with two fluid-based systems that take care of them. That's not difficult to understand. There's only two sides of chemistry. That's even more simple to understand. Then you have to understand what's the nature of an acid and what's the nature of a base, as a rule. Because you can get on each side, the far end of each one. You can get on the far end of base and the far end of acids, and they're going to rip you apart. Of course, medical oncology likes to play at the far end of acids. Well, not at the far end of acids. When you're way down at, what was I saying, minus 60 or something? Oh! I don't know how one could get that acid, because you couldn't contain that acid. It would destroy any container. I don't know how you have to be careful playing in these levels. Holy crap. Also tried to work with my HIV. 24 years and never took any drugs for it. You know what? Proud of you. Here's the thing, my friend. Detox. Get those viral loads out. If you have a viral load of HIV, virals are not difficult to detox out of your body, guys. And that's the only way to get rid of virals. You can't attack a protein like that. You got to detox them out of the body. They say there's antivirals and things like that. Bull crap. When you look at all the viral issues, not one medical doctor can cure them. It's just you have to detox viral loads out of the body. And the same thing with HIV, Hep C, I don't care what viral load, herpes, all the same, guys. The only remedy to your ills is to detox these things out of you, to get rid of them. Well, detox is how you get rid of them. Because if you're eating an acidic diet, you're eating a diet that stops detoxification. If you're eating a raw diet, that is a constant detoxification because fruits and vegetables clean you while they digest and feed you energy and nutrition. That's why one should be a God lover, or whatever name you want to attach to the Creator, the creative force. Wow. Cool. Cool beans. You can think and chew gum at the same time. You created all these things. It's amazing when you look at all this, how all this is done. But I would like to really just completely be HIV free. I'll be glad to help you. Done many, many people that way. Any recommendations? Detox, detox, detox. Put yourself on a great fast. 10 days to start, 20 days, whatever you can do. Really dig in and move your lymph. That's where you're holding everything. The blood will come clean with it. And just clean yourself. Get a picture of your eyes, take a look at where your weaknesses are, and go after them. Use herbs to go after them. You're using the raw foods to enhance and clean as well. So you got all the power of nature on your side. I have a little saying. If you do everything right, like with your raw foods and your herbs, it's just a matter of time, however that works itself out. Or, it's your time. If you can't get well doing these measures, you're going to be taking another trip. Get yourself prepared. Enjoy the ride, because it's only you that's going. And you must get in touch with yourself anyway, because you must become whole again, fearless of yourself, fearless of creation, fearless of anything, because you represent the God force. You know now where your home is, who you are, And now you're being a channel, a vehicle, a way shower to show other souls how to enjoy creation better, or is it your time to get out of it? For those that want to play and stay, have fun. The sun comes up every morning, goes down every night. I have tried the baking soda water. No. I mean, that's an alkalizer, but you got to filtering. Get your lymph filtering. The only way to detox virals is to, it would be the same thing as detoxing acids. The same thing as detoxing anything. You must open those doors of elimination, and the kidneys and skin are big doors for that issue. And I feel like it completely dried me out for a week. Oh, did you really? I've tried the baking soda water. Really? Wow, that's interesting. Dried you out for a week? That's freaky. You know, because that's a hot thing. It's called the Fast Track Alkalizer. You know, this is just bicarbonate. Amazing how that would. That sounds like you're so acidic it's not even funny. Now, I've worked, there was one time in my life where I very much hooked to a lot of HIV and full-blown AIDS clients. And I never did try baking soda on them back then, but if you're that acidic that you're burning bicarbonate that fast, scary stuff. I don't know, you know, but I remember all the eyes that I took, and I can say this of what my experience has been with HIV and AIDS is that we are talking major lymphatic toxicity. Every AIDS patient, every AIDS client that's come in here, we have them come in here, not every day, but I'd say we get maybe once a week or 2 weeks. And, you know, same thing, their lymph systems are a mess. Anytime your body can't eject virals, you're not cleaning, self-cleaning, then you're going to hold anything and everything. So this is about opening up your doors for everything. You know, your acids, your virals, all that. Your body will clean all that out of you. And have faith and know that's true because it happens all the time. And get yourself detoxed. But it did make me alkaline for a period of time, but was mechanically not all the time. Well, man, it's really about getting the adrenals up and the kidneys filtering and getting your lymph system filtering through the kidneys, getting yourself sweating, things like that. Talking about some cases, going back to the original question here about what Paul was talking about. It's important to keep energy to the client at all times. It's the problem with some of the advanced cases is they're losing systemic energy. And when the energy is taken out so much of the body that soul can't stay in it anymore, you'll pop out. And that's part of understanding why simplicity in eating in advanced cases is important. And why fruit is very, very important for advanced cases, because fruit is neurological. Keeping the neurological system moving in an advanced case is vital. The body just wants to shut down and the soul, take off. So if that soul wants to stay, then it's important that it rest and revitalize the human body. And there's no better food to revitalize the human body than your fruits and your berries. And your melons, I guess. Vegetables are okay, but they're not revitalizing to that level. And that's the level you want. You need neurological support. That's why I always use brain and nerve on all my clients, especially after the first month or so. If you're really young and healthy, sometimes I don't, but for the most part, because you understand the nervous system is how things happen. It's a mover of things. It's the electrical department. So I'm always working in the electrical department as well, because it's like the individual with the numbness in the hands. You start impeding nerve flow and your myelin sheaths go down, then you're suffering from electrical activity of cells. So everything just starts to go down. And you want to electrify, enhance. So always you want to keep those clients going. Also bowel movements. You want to make sure they're having adequate bowel movements. You want a bowel movement every day. The tendency of someone in advanced states is not to eat. And that's a tendency of all life, is not to eat. What is that? That's fasting. The trouble with fasting at the humans at this level is they're so toxic. I think fasting could hurt some people. Excuse me. I don't think fasting is appropriate in advanced cases. I just don't. Because especially if you're febrile, you've had malabsorption, all these things, I think electrical activity is key. And simplicity is key. Simplicity in digestion. They've lost their digestion. Why would you give someone complicated digestive foods to try to get them well? It won't happen. It'll innervate them even more. You don't want complexity in advanced cases. You want simplicity in advanced cases. Another thing to be cautious is the water. You cannot have your clients over-consuming water, because the tendency, of course, in acidosis is edema. So in holding this water, and we've talked about this before, in being highly acidic is edema. And those words associated with edema is congestive heart failure and pulmonary edema, those type of things, where you fill up with fluids and then you suppress the function of, like in your lungs. You fill up your lungs, you can't breathe. And it is key in advanced cases, particularly lung cancers and stuff, that they don't fill up with fluids. If they do, you have to have them go to the hospital and get aspirated. You have to keep your clients breathing. So being smart in every way is important, because you're supporting that body with energy and nutrition. When you're giving people the properly grown fruits and berries, and you are giving the highest energy and the highest nutrition on this planet to your clients. People have to understand that. The highest nutrition on the planet isn't found in dead animal meat. It is not found in dried beans and grain starch. That's not where man's nutrition is. For herbivores, they can get it out of the grasses. I've never seen a good herbivore turn down a fruit. But fruits, berries are invigorating, electrical, chemical, and that's where your life is. If you do something on the side, so what? But make no mistake, that's where your health is. Oh, hello, my name is Ann. I love you, and I just started watching your channel. Well, I love you, Ann. Thank you, dear one. Appreciate you watching the channel, you know. Hope it doesn't get too boring for you, but I like to shake these up a little bit, but it's hard because we're talking on the same subject. This subject matter is how you roll your sleeves up and get into a body that's highly toxic and acidic and stinky with full of putrefaction, and getting them well, getting them healthy again. And that's what this channel is about. So I try to introduce as much spirituality as possible, because I like that side of it, because that is your propeller. That's what keeps you happy and exciting. It is how you perceive and what you know. You know, some people are just got themselves down in these little cracks and little corners and stuff, and they've just locked themselves away from life. They're in pain. They're emotionally suppressed and everything else. So invigorate yourself. Each of you grab a hold of life yourselves. Don't wait till someone else does. Don't wait till I do a video or anything else. Grab life for yourself. Be the way shower. Be the light. See yourself as the light of God. Can I help you? You know, remember humility. Humility will go a long way, keeping yourself straight and good. Egos, get yourself slapped every once in a while. I get myself slapped every once in a while. And you just have to be careful. You know, it keeps that little ego in the corner with a hat on it. Doesn't matter. You're a way shower for the Supreme One. And you're just helping other souls to awaken, because they're you. When I look at each one of you, I know I'm just as much a part of you as you are me. And we're all part of the big mirror called God, or the Creator. You can't be outside of that. So accepting your divinity and accepting yourself is a key part of this. And it's also a way to enliven your physical body. You know, your emotions can destroy your human body. Your mind can destroy your physical body. So you have to get your mind under control and your emotions under control. How do you do that? You become aware outside of those guys. Those are just bodies. You become more aware than that. And awareness controls everything. When you're unaware, you don't know how to control anything, do you? You don't know you're not controlling or out of control, because you're unaware, you're lost. And what loses you is thought. Think about that. I have a question. Maybe a year ago I had at least 50... What? Maybe a year ago, this Ann had about 50 CT scans on my abdomen and pelvis in maybe a month. Any medical doctor that would order 50 CT scans, especially non-digital, ought to lose their license right there. That's bizarre. That's like way the hell out of here. What is the rads of a CT, a non-digital CT? 260 some rads? I don't know. You guys probably know. So you were subjected to 200 and some rads 50 times in 1 month. Somebody needs to pay for that. That's scary, honey. I think I'm going where you're going here. It was due to Crohn's disease. Okay, why would they do 50 CT scans because of Crohn's? That's even worse still, because you're highly inflamed, you're highly acidic in the gut wall, and now they're throwing more heat in there. I mean, 50 CT scans, I hate to say it, but I hope the hell you don't walk away with cancer down in those areas, because, I mean, my God, 50 CAT scans, that's insane. You know what? Things are getting insane, and if we don't stop these things and control these things, they're going way out of there. It's the same thing as getting shot with a mammogram. You know, 7 shots in a woman's breast gave her breast cancer one time. 7 shots, 7 views. 4 will do it, but 7 really did it. And you had 50 CT scans on the pelvic, and that's scary crap. They would not do any other test but CT. I am very young and I am worried I will get cancer from this exposure. Boy, you're smart, Ann. Is there anything I can do to prevent cancer from this, or am I damned to get cancer? Excellent question, and I have to tell you, Humphrey, that's why I do these. Boring as it might be to you, these people need their questions answered, because they bring up things I can't always think about. So, Ann, listen, the only one way to get rid of radiation is the same way you get rid of any acids, and that is detox. And I would probably do some green drinks for probably a good 2 or 3 weeks, and I'd hit parsley if you can find dandelion green, cilantro, spinach, beets, that sort of thing. I would do some green drinks, but I'd hit the grapes, really start cleaning, because as you alkalize, that radiation will come out too. And so that's how you're going to make those cells healthy. Acidosis holds radiation in the body. So you see how that works too? So they're doing all this radiation on people that are highly acidic, and of course that holds radiation in. Of course, radiation causes cancer. We all know that. That's a fact. So whoever ordered 50 CT scans has a head examined. That doc was not deserving of a degree. You don't do that on human beings. This is horrible. And for Crohn's, if you don't know what causes Crohn's by now, so you want to get rid of the Crohn's. I mean, this is all locked together. So interstitial acidosis, you got to get your kidneys moving, honey. You got to get your kidneys filtering. Get those adrenals up so you increase your steroids and your neurotransmitters to help all things. Work on the GI tract, no question, but you can only work kind of topically. I don't know how the GI room would be, because if you're in a lot of pain, it's pretty astringent, and astringents can cause pain. It's astringing of the tissue because it's so dehydrated and full of acids. So it can cause some of this sometimes, but I'd be definitely doubting the aloe veras, the stomach and bowel number 1s. It depends where you're moving too much, not enough, or you're constipated. I've seen Crohn's both ways, where it's constant diarrhea or can't move at all. Remember, I had a couple of Crohn's cases. One was a Fox News analyst's wife, and I had her on almost 20 stomach and bowel number 5s, which is my strongest, and then I use the Schultz's laxatives, about 3 or 4 of those, because I don't use laxatives if I can help it. There's no way, because that just makes your job worse. Because addiction, and whenever you stimulate, you innervate. So those doing coffee enemas and all the stimulation, you're innervating yourself. You stimulate, you innervate. Duality, you go that middle path. You want vigor, you want vitality, you want cell health, you want dynamic cellular health. To get that, the fluids must be healthy, and to get the fluids healthy, you got to watch what you eat, because that's how you influence your fluids. How else do you, what you eat, what you breathe, what you put on your skin, what you drink, that is chemistry. That's your lifestyle. That is how you are, healthy or not. How come medically don't get that? Where are you guys living? In a treetop far, far away, I take it. So yeah, get this out of you before you get convert these cells, because you are right on in your thinking, and you are a smart woman. You want to get this out, and the only way to get it out is alkalize, alkalize, alkalize. I do have a radiation exposure formula. You could use that one to help you. That sort of thing to get that out of you. But that's what you want to do to get all that radiation out of you. But you want to fix the Crohn's. And fixing the Crohn's is the same system. That's the lymphatic system. That's the acids. That's the inflammation and swelling. And this is interstitial. That's why it's in the wall. How it affects the in or out of the wall, who cares? That's not where the problem is. So get those kidneys filtering in, get those adrenals up to give you more steroids to help a little bit with the pain and discomfort of that. But you really watch what you eat. I'd probably stay away too astringent fruits. Probably the acid fruits I'd stay away from. Go to that sub-acid. Let's see if I can show you this a little bit. This is a Canadian natural hygienic people, but I think they're all out of business now too. Stay away from these acids. Go into this sub-acid and maybe some green drinks and stuff like that for a while too, to help with the Crohn's and to help with, with the inflammation there. I'm going to have to close this off and come back here. Hello, I caught this virus not too long ago, and I desperately need help. God bless you. Oh, thanks. Who is this? This is Paul. Hey, Paul. Paul, there's only one way to get rid of virus, and we just talked about this. Maybe this one was for you, too, because we just talked about getting rid of viral loads and how you get rid of viral loads. Isn't it funny? And this is why now you're seeing why I call the detoxification the golden key that unlocks the mystery of man's suffering. And when you simply understand how man created his suffering, then you understand how we can uncreate it. Isn't that neat? You don't live in these worlds and diseases and hell and stuff like that. These are bizarre things that are made up stuff. You want reality. You want truth. You want to understand a little chemistry and a little physics. If anything in school, we should learn how that affects us as humans and our foods and stuff like that. If we want to learn at all how to be healthy and stuff, we have to learn a little chemistry, a little physics, and our foods. What are they? What are they made, Special interest groups, you guys got to get yourselves heads out of your butts and realize you're much a part of man's suffering as not. The Dairymen's Association, the Cattlemen's Association, look how they sued Oprah. They love to shut people up to tell the truth. We get our YouTube shut down every once in a while. The criminals love to shut people up. They don't want you to know what they've been getting away with. How bad is it when you know you're doing something to others that are killing them or hurting them? How do you live with yourself? What do you tell yourself to make that okay? Oh, it's good for the whole. The few, the millions that die, the few that get help is worth it. I got to run here in a minute. Let me do one more here. Desiree. Thank you for all your honesty and I love you too. Thanks. I am still going through detoxification. I'm a 20-year-old female. Wow, 20 years old. Well, I'm so glad you're doing it, sweetheart, because 20 years old, you'll have a good life in front of you. You have good babies. I mean, this is what you young ladies, I'm real proud of you guys. And you 13, 14, 15-year-old lads and ladies that are working on yourselves, you guys are cream of the crop. Be proud of yourselves, guys. You're the future, and what you're learning and how you're taking care of yourself will be much needed in your compadres as you go on. I have sent in my concerns and resubmitted a few times. Oh, I'm sorry, honey. I know you have so many people that are much more in need. Well, I don't like to think of it that way, but it's just, you see, look, here's one stack. Here's another stack. And here's a bigger stack. So I'm so sorry. I just only one of me. And I can't. That's why I'm trying my best to help you all. So please keep submitting if you have to. I don't care. Or call the clinic and give me a heads up, send an email special to Jen B or something, especially if you've been a resubmitter and I haven't got to you. Email Jen B and tell her you're a resubmitter, and she'll then hand it to me. I apologize. And patient and trust you eventually. Well, I'm here to help you, honey. I'm in pain with my hands and realize this could be my liver. Wow. I'm on an herbal formula by a local herbalist. Your herbs do not reach Africa. Isn't that sad? Yeah, we've had to quit shipping to Africa. I was told that last week. We had some herbs come back after a year gone. Sick. I know it, guys. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Do your very best. See what you can get in your local areas. Know you're looking for kidney herbs, lymphatic herbs, stuff like that. You know what herbs you're looking for. Because you know what you're trying to do in your body. So you look at those herbs that are in your country that can do that. Put yourself together a little formula. Or buy you a bunch of the dried herbs and grind them up and then put them in capsules or something. Whatever you can do to help yourself that way, I would be doing. I've often thought I would love to go to each country, put together the herbs of that country into formulas to help those people of that country. But, you know, I just so little time. There's just so little time for me to get things done. I'm still seeing people. And that's why I'm trying to cut down on that. So I can have some time to do some other things that I think are important. But reaching all of you is my goal. So whatever it takes me to reach you guys and to help you, I'll definitely do that. Furthermore, I would like to know if it is possible to regenerate stretch marks on the skin. It is, but you're going to get up there pretty raw, and you really got to get into the body at these higher levels. It's going to take you probably a year to 2 years to do that. But it will. I've seen it do that. I've seen them just disappear. You know, so, matter of fact, all scar tissue and adhesions the same way, too. It's just like a fracture. Your body starts putting extra tissue around a fracture, and then it pulls it away later on. I mean, the body's so cool, friggin' cool as all get out. Well, I hate to hurt it. You know, you don't have to hurt the body to make it well. You know, you don't have to have 50 CAT scans with colitis, because one will tell you what the problem is, and if you don't know how to fix it, well, then you don't know how to fix it. How many times do you want to look at the same problem? I mean, this is stupid stuff, guys. Just stupid stuff that is very detrimental to the health of the people on the planet. This planet has gotten trapped, and we just need to open those doors a little bit so it can go on to its another levels. That's all. I have them everywhere, and they started when I was 12. Uh-oh. You know what, honey? I take a look at my endocrine glands. I take a look at my parathyroid in particular, because it sounds like your body's very acidic and maybe low in calcium utilization. If that's the case, you will tend to scar more in all ways. Slow to heal, things like this. And you want to change that. You're 20 now. You've seen things since you were 12, so I'd really get on the stick detox. Dive right into it. Raw is key. So you do your food side of it, and then whatever herbs you can find. You want kidney herbs, lymphatic herbs, things like that. See the protocols that we have up. Look at our 12 or our 14-week protocol. See the herbs I'm using and see if you can replicate them in your country as much as possible, or find a way around that where you can get them in some other way. Is this a zinc deficiency? You know what? I don't work with deficiencies. You can't make that until you fix, remember, you have to fix absorption, you have to fix digestion, you have to fix utilization. That's your zinc. Utilization is your adrenal glands. And I can tell you with what you're saying, your adrenal glands are down because your lymph is down in your kidneys. So fix all these things and there will be no deficiencies. If you consider that a deficiency problem, you have to fix yourself. I'll be glad to help you, honey. I love bikinis, but they are not an option. Oh, well, you know what? Get into this high level of detoxification where you're on the fruits, you're moving your kidneys, make sure take your urines, make sure you're filtering your sediment in your urine, honey. See what your blood pressure is, because you know you're at 20, you're probably going to have real low blood pressure if you're having these problems. So you know you got to go after the adrenals anyway. So your focusing should be on your adrenals, your kidneys, and your lymphatic systems, cleaning up your bowels. Those are the 4 focuses. Deworm yourself at least, you know, especially if you're living in these other countries. Deworm yourself a little bit. Spend a month deworming yourself. Also, since I cut out toothpaste, fluoride, I feel so much different spiritually. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, what a plan. We got to change this, guys. I mean, we're selling even our friggin' toothpaste is toxic to us. I mean, Jesus Christ. There comes the intellectual elitist syndrome again, you know. Of course, fluoride, I think, was a Reynolds aluminum issue, wasn't it? Where Reynolds aluminum had so much fluoride as a byproduct of their industry that they decided to go on a campaign of trying to sell it to municipalities for water because fluoride, right? And so they even got dentists buying into this bullshit. And that stuff is toxic as hell. And that stuff will get into your bones and leach your calcium out. And yet, you know, and it's like, what? So we're still playing in idiocy of a world here that we have to change. And this is stupid. And there's a lot of people that know that. A lot of people know fluorides and chlorides are bad for you, but chlorines. Please talk about that. Have a lovely day. Many blessings. Say many blessings to you, my dear. Desiree? Yeah, you want to really dig in and get yourself healthy. Get all these acids out of your system, sweetheart, and get yourself alkaline dominant. At the same time, I would look at my parathyroid and get my parathyroid up there. Now, I use a glandular, so I don't know how you're going to get a hold of that. Or you can use the, like the endocrine gland formula. You want to detox, the lymph and all this and get the mucus out of the head and thyroid and parathyroid anyway, so everything works better. But I would also think about a bones formula with that. I've got comfrey and I got all kinds of things in my bones formula, but comfrey, knit bone, got the kelp for the high iodine, stuff like that to trip up the thyroid and parathyroid. So work, work with something like that to strengthen, because you only scar when you're weak. You don't scar when you're strong. So you must strengthen your cells, and that's key. And what weakens this whole scenario, of course, is acids. So again, go back to what you're learning here of detoxification and dig in. You're only 20, like you say. Dig in and get yourself well. And use cinnamon and bicarbonate to brush your teeth. That's all you need. But if you're on a high raw food diet, it's self-cleansing to the mouth. And you want an alkaline mouth. So these foods, when you get stuff in your teeth, it's either white flour products or proteins. And the proteins are going to stay because there's no digestion of protein in your mouth whatsoever. That's why you see your dog swallow the meat. There's no digestion, why chew it? So listen, I want to thank you all. I love you, and thank you for being patient with us. But if you have a problem, serious problem, I've said this multiple times, you call in and get yourself going, because don't wait. Those of you who are in pain, just try to do everything you can to alkalize yourself. Hydrotherapy, baking soda if you can, aluminum-free a little bit. Of course, the diet. Stay away from too many acid fruits, only because the way we raise them and pick them, they are acid. You get all these acid fruits grown properly and picked ripe, the acid doesn't apply anymore. You don't taste it, you don't feel it. So it's totally how we take care or how we grow our products, right? So I love you guys. This is my last day to work, and then I've got the weekend. I'm going to be doing a lot of videos your way. So hang on. I love you guys. Thank you so much for taking your times. May the blessings be. Thank you.